Hello everyone, welcome back to the AWS ECS for Cloud Engineer series. My name is Dheeraj and in today's video, we are comparing three powerful AWS services, ECS, EKS and Lambda functions. Each one is designed for different scenarios and choosing the right one can mean the difference between a smooth deployment and operational overheads. We will break down the difference, explore real world use cases, and have a clear decision framework to pick the best tool for our application. So let's dive in. Think of these three services as different philosophies for running your application workload. ECS is AWS proprietary container orchestration service. It's like AWS saying, we built this specifically for AWS users and we will manage as much complexity as possible for you. It's simpler but less flexible if you want to move away from AWS because it is AWS Cloud Native offering. Then comes EKS. EKS stands for Elastic Kubernetes Service. So Kubernetes is open source, industry standard container orchestration platform originally created by Google. EKS is AWS managed Kubernetes service. It's like AWS saying you, we will give you Kubernetes, the industry standards, and we will manage the control plane for you, but you get all of the Kubernetes flexibility. It's more powerful, but also more complex compared to ECS. Third is Lambda. So Lambda is different entirely compared to both of this. It's serverless. You don't deploy containers, you deploy functions. You don't manage infrastructure at all. You write code, AWS handles everything. It's perfect for short-lived, event-driven tasks. For absolute beginners, if you are already learning ECS, stick with ECS. ECS is simpler and great for most containerized application. If you need Kubernetes flexibility or plan to use multiple clouds, consider using EKS. If your workload is event-driven and short-lived, Lambda might be the perfect solution for you. Now, ECS is the easiest to learn and use. So if you understand the core concepts we covered in our first video, that is cluster, task, and services, you are ready to deploy applications with ECS. There is no additional Kubernetes knowledge required. The integration with AWS services is seamless. Want to add load balancer, use application load balancer, and ECS integrates natively if you want logs with CloudWatch, which is again a built-in feature. Need to manage permission, you have again IAM roles, which works perfectly with ECS task. So with ECS, you choose your infrastructure approach, like you can use Fargate or forget about servers entirely, or use EC2 and have a full control of the servers that you want. The flexibility is powerful. Operationally, ECS requires less expertise. You don't need to understand Kubernetes concepts like pods, deployments, or services. So Kubernetes services is not like ECS service, it's different. So don't get confused. You just define task and services and let ECS manage them for you. Deployment is faster and you can go from zero to a running application in minutes with Fargate compared to EKS. For teams that are all in on AWS and want simplicity, ECS is the sweet spot for those teams. Now, let's talk about EKS. So, EKS is for teams who need industrial strength container orchestration or plan to use multi cloud providers. Kubernetes is the industry standard. If you learn Kubernetes on AWS with EKS, those skills transfers to Google Cloud, Azure Cloud, or on-premise environments too. That portability is really very powerful. Kubernetes offers advanced scaling features, horizontal pod scaling, that is, it auto scales horizontally, automatically scales your pods based on metrics like CPU or custom matrices, vertical pod auto scaling, which recommends optimal resource request. Carpenter is AWS tool for automated node provisioning, which is an intelligent server management on autopilot. So these features are more sophisticated than ECS basic auto scaling. Now you understood, right, why it is industry grade. The downside is complexity. Kubernetes have steeper learning curve. You need to understand pods, groups of containers, then deployments, how to manage replicas, then services, networking between those pods that you have created, and many more concepts. So it's more moving parts, more things that can go wrong and more operational overhead. EKS is choice for teams that already use Kubernetes, need multi-cloud capabilities, or run complex microservices architectures with hundreds of services. So it's an enterprise tool for enterprise problem with superior control. Now let's talk about money because cloud cost matters. So based on the 2025 data, here's the breakdown. So Lambda is the cheapest for low traffic application. If you are getting around 10,000 requests per day, Lambda cost about $2.85 and ECS target for the same workload cost around 75 per month. And ECS is dramatically more expensive at scale, but as traffic grows, Lambda cost uh, per request stays constant. Then ECS has a baseline infrastructure cost, but better per request cost. The crossover point is around 35,000 requests per day. Below that, Lambda is cheaper. So you need to understand what is the traffic that is coming in. It's less than 35,000 requests, Lambda. Greater than 35, between 35 to 85, ECS. Above that, ECS becomes cheaper. So after 35,000. So ECS remains the sweet spot until you reach 85,000 requests per day. Above that comes EKS with optimizations like spot instances becomes the most cost effective solution for you. But this is just compute. Real costs include team expertise. If you need to hire a Kubernetes expert, so you have to give a very good package for him to manage EKS. The cost calculus changes dramatically. So Lambda simplicity might mean no additional hiring. ECS is usually the Goldilocks solution, not too expensive, not too complex, with good AWS integration. So for a practical approach, start with Lambda if the traffic is unpredictable and very low. Gradually graduate to ECS as you scale on your application. Only move to EKS if you need multi-cloud or advanced Kubernetes features when you run thousands of microservices. Now performance matter. So let's look at actual 2025 benchmark data. So in raw latency test, EKS is the fastest with average latency around 128 millisecond. ECS target comes in at 156 millisecond, not much slower, but yes, compared to EKS, it is a bit slower. Lambda comes at an average of 245 milliseconds, but that's misleading. You know why? The real problem with Lambda is cold starts and variance. When Lambda function hasn't run recently, AWS has to start a new instance, load your code onto that instance, initialize the runtime, which is going to take around 3 to 5 minutes, and this happens unpredictably. Your function might normally respond in 200 milliseconds, but after sitting idle for a while, it takes 4 seconds. So this unpredictability is a killer for user-facing APIs. So user expect consistent performance. So for real-time APIs where users are waiting for responses, ECS or EKS are a better solution. Lambda is perfect for background jobs, event processing, and scheduled tasks where a few seconds delay doesn't matter at all. And here's the practical rule. If your application needs consistent, fast responses, use ECS or EKS. If it's event driven and users aren't directly waiting, Lambda is fine. Let me paint a realistic scenario for you to understand this better. Use Lambda when you're building a photo sharing app where user uploads the images. When an image uploads to S3, Lambda automatically processes it, resize it, put the watermark, optimize it, and saves the result. No servers running. Lambda cost is in pennies per month if you are going to do this operation. Use ECS for a web application. Maybe it's an e-commerce platform. You run API servers, a shopping cart service, a payment processor, like preprocessor. So these run constantly with steady traffic. So ECS smoothly handles scaling. You can use Fargate, so no servers to manage, and this is a sweet spot for most web applications. Use EKS for complex system. Imagine you have a SaaS platform with 50 plus microservices, each handling different functions. Services communicate with each other. You need sophisticated observability, complex routing, and advanced scaling rules. So Kubernetes features like service discovery, rolling updates, canary deployments becomes essential for you. Or maybe you want to run the same application on AWS and Azure for redundancy. So Kubernetes skills transfer across cloud, as I told you already. In reality, many large applications use all three of the cloud while they are using Kubernetes. So AWS Lambda handles event processing, as we discussed. ECS runs web server, and maybe EKS runs the complex analytical engine for you. So they are the complementary tools. Operational complexity is often underestimated, but we are not going to underestimate it. Let's understand that. So Lambda is operationally trivial. You write code, deploy it, and forget about infrastructure. Debugging is very simple. You can check the CloudWatch log for debugging. Scaling happens automatically. There is almost zero operational overhead. Okay. ECS is more involved but manageable. You define task definition, which you maintain, create services, which you monitor, and manage cluster capacity with Fargate, which is going to managed by AWS. So you might need to troubleshoot why a task crashed, check logs, adjust resources allocation. That would be the overhead. That is the operational overhead at your end. But it's very straightforward. A single engineer can manage an ECS cluster. Now, EKS is significantly more complex. You need to understand first the Kubernetes concept, which is itself very difficult. Manage the control plane. So AWS does this, but you need to configure that control plane. Manage nodes, understand the deployments, services, ingress, operators, a lot of things. And you are on call for Kubernetes specific issues. You need team member who understand Kubernetes deeply. A single engineer managing a EKS is a major overload. So for small teams and startup, this complexity is a real cost. For enterprise with large DevOps team, it's manageable. And here's my advice for beginners. Start with ECS or Lambda, as I showed you based on the traffic that you're getting. Both are operationally manageable. As your application grows and becomes more complex, which is more than 85,000 traffic that you're getting, then if you need Kubernetes features, then migrate to EKS. Don't start with EKS complexity unless you already know Kubernetes uh, properly, or you have to have a team to manage when you're setting up that Kubernetes cluster. And here's a simple decision tree for you how to choose Lambda, ECS, or EKS. So based on the decision tree, let's understand. So first question which comes to your mind, you should consider while you are going to decide: is your workload event driven and unpredictable? Example: processing uploads, responding to webhooks, scheduled maintenance tasks. If yes, Lambda is the answer for you. It's the simplest and the cheapest option for you to get your work done. Second question which should come to your mind: do you need infrastructure running all the time? If yes, you need containers. So ECS or EKS would be your option. Third question would be: do you need multi-cloud capability or extremely complex orchestration tool? If no, choose ECS because ECS is simpler, AWS integrated, and perfect for most application. And if you want to have a multi-cloud capability, then you can choose EKS. EKS gives you Kubernetes portability and advanced features compared to ECS. Next question that you should consider: how complex is your application? Is it a single service application? One deployment target? ECS is great for this kinds of workload, single service application. Multiple interdependent services where services have to talk between each other, a lot of dependencies, and they have to run across various regions and availability zones. Then go for EKS because EKS handles this elegantly. For absolute business beginners who are watching this series, your default choice should be ECS. ECS is simpler than EKS, more capable than Lambda for persistent workloads, and perfect for learning container orchestration. As you grow, you will know when you need to level up to EKS or incorporate Lambda for specific tasks. And that's a wrap for understanding the differences between ECS, EKS, and Lambda, and you have a clear framework for choosing the right service now. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning step by step, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the upcoming tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.